Okay, Udu, you know him.
Yeah. Next session.
Okay, in the interest of time, we will start. So, uh, last week we have seen how to install Python, and then we have seen how to read the Excel file from local computer, and then also we have seen how to describe the data and how to find the length of the data, how many rows and how many columns are there. So these are all the basic things in Python. So before going to today's topic, I just want to check with you all. If you I hope everyone has installed Python. Let me know if you face any difficulty in installing or downloading Python. You can post your question in chat. Otherwise, we will move to today's topic. And also, I have seen some people got error while doing assignment. That is fine. You people have sent me the screenshot of the error. Maybe I will respond to you by today or tomorrow EOB. So you can take 1 or 2 more days to complete the assignment. That is fine if you face any error. But if you haven't completed the assignment, please send it to me. It is mandatory for a certificate. So please send the assignment to me or post it in a WhatsApp group. Yeah. I hope everyone has installed Python in their system. If you face any difficulty, put it in a chat or we will go to today's topic. Okay. I hope everyone has installed Python. Okay. Okay. So today we will see the basic data analysis in Python. So okay. Okay. So we will see some basic statistics in how to do the basic statistics in Python. So this will be the very basic statistics, not advanced statistics or advanced artificial intelligence. So before going to advanced analysis, you should know the basics. So we will see uh, there are so many data types in statistics, right? Numerical data, character data. Similarly, in Python also there are so many data types. So we will see the most common data types in Python. So one is integer. So for example, let me open Python in my system. Okay, so there are four different types of data in Python. One is integer. So in integer, we refer in Python by int. So when you are using the number, whole number 10, 5,000, or without any decimal, Dr. I think your name is Rangesh. I guess, sir, you need not to open Python now. This is just for a class purpose. Maybe when you have a time, you can practice on your own. But th- you are not able to open Python now, or you are facing the issue always. Uh, okay. Maybe we can connect in WhatsApp. Is it fine for you? if it is fine, maybe after the class I can connect with you and resolve the issue. It is fine. Okay, thank you. Okay. So there are four different data types. Yeah. Okay. Four different data types. One is integer. That is when you have a whole number, we will call it as integer. When you have a numbers with decimals, we will call it as a float. The data type will be float. And another is we will have a Boolean data type. Either the value will be true or false. Okay. And another data type is string or str. So when your data values are like string or character, we will call it as a string. So we will see all the data types in Python. Okay. So when your data for example, a equal to 5, I am assigning, storing the number a equal to 5. So this is a whole number. This is called integer, okay, in Python. Okay, similarly, when you are having b equal to 6 or c equal to 8, all this are, integer data type. But when you have a decimal numbers, so we will call it as float. Okay. When you have a decimal numbers, we will call it as float. Okay. And then there is one more data type called true or false. Okay. So for example, we will see what is this value about, when it will be useful. Okay. So there are two values. One is true, another value is false. Okay. So this is called Boolean values. Okay. So we will see this about later stage. Now it is not useful. But in later stage, I will tell how to use this true or false. And another data type is okay. I'm storing Jeny. Okay. So in Python, when you are using a string, when you are using a character, we will put it under double quotes or single quotes. Okay. So when you are having a string variable, you should always put it under uh, the double quotes or single quotes. Okay. So there are three important data types. One is integer, another is float, another is character variable. Okay. So this is another character variable uh, or string. Okay, so this is called string. Okay, string means character variable. So we will put the values under double quotes. If you don't put the values under double quotes, Python will throw the error. Okay. For example, I am just assigning the value 6th in the variable name class. If you do that, it will throw the error. So the values, when you are using character variable or string, you should always put the values under double quotes or single quotes. Okay. So these are all the data types in Python. Okay, so complex data types we will see in later stage when we use for when we are using advanced analysis. So let's keep the basics now. Okay. Now let's see when it will be using. For example, you will use the integer just for counting purpose. Uh, Float, it is when you are using a decimal values. For the same like integer, we will use for the addition, subtraction, or something. String we will use when we work with the textual data. Okay. So list we will see in a later stage. This is also under the advanced analysis. So let's remember three different data types: integer, float, and string. Okay. Okay. So these are all the three important data types in Python. So apart from that, there is one more data type called list. Okay. So we will see what is list. Okay. Always remember, this is called integer, this is called float, and this is called uh, string variable. Okay, now let's see what is list. There is another data type in Python called list. Okay, so if you see integer, there will be only one value for the variable. Okay, if you see the float, there will be only one value. If you see the string variable, there will be only one value. Okay, so even if it is integer value variable, there will be only one value assigned to the variable. Similarly, float. Similarly, for string variable also, there will be one value. But if you want to store multiple uh, values in the data type, then we will use list. Okay. So list, we will see it is a collection of values. For example, I'm using one list name called names maybe. Okay. So in our class, there may be different students, right? Raja, Arun. So if you want to store multiple values in a single variable, then we will use a list data type. Okay. Okay. So list is nothing but it is a collection of values. Okay, so it will be stored in the variable. Okay, the values need to be in a same data type. Okay, for example, here all the values are in the character or string, right? One thing you have to remember is you can't use like one string value you are using and then you can't use the number. Okay, if you are using number and string together, it will throw a error. Okay, so always you should remember the list should be the collection of same data type. If you are using string, always use the string. Okay, so this is another data type called list. Okay, similarly, you can create a numerical list also. I'm just measuring height of the different students, maybe in a feet. 5.5. One student height is 5.5. Another student height is 6.2. Another student height is 5.1. Another student height is 6.0. Okay. So, for example, these are all the student names and these are all the student height. Okay. Only one thing you should remember is each value is separated by comma. Okay. In list, each value is separated by comma. If you don't give comma, then Python will throw a error. So, list is the collection of values, multiple values, and the data type should be same. Either it should be string or it should be a numbers like a integer or float. Okay. You can't mix the data type in the list. Okay. Either first the value should be a string and next you can't use the number. You should always use the same data type in the list. Okay. Okay. So these are all the basic data types in Python. One is integer, another is float, another is string, and another is list. Okay. And next, what we will see is we will see the basic statistics. Okay. We will see what is mean and what is median and what is mode. Okay. In statistics, all these three values will be called as central tendency or it will be called as central value. or it is called as average value. Okay. Uh, okay, so they summarize a data set by identifying a key central points. Each measure is useful depending on the nature of the data. Okay, let me explain in a very simple term. Okay, I have a data set called drug effectiveness. Okay. For example, in this data set, there is a different disease condition and what is the drug used for the particular disease condition, and then what is the drug type, and what are all the how many online reviews. They have taken the data from different online reviews, and then they have seen how much the drug is effective against the particular disease condition. More the score is, more the drug works against the disease condition. Okay, if you see this, you can't interpret anything from this data, right? For example, there are so many rows are there, and there are multiple disease conditions are there. You may not know which drug is more effective against the particular disease condition. For example, if you want to see against sinusitis, which drug is working better, in a one go you can't find, right? So what we will do is we will use the statistics like mean, median, or mode to find which drug is more effective or not. Okay, so statistic is not nothing but it is the average value. It helps to interpret about the data, okay, in a simpler term. Okay. So we will see when we have to mean, median, mode. These are all the three different statistical measure, and we will see what is mean, what is median, and what is mode, and when we have to use mean, when we have to use median, and when we have to use the mode. Okay. Okay. For example, we will see what is mean first. Okay. Mean, it is just an average value of all the data. Okay. For example, here we have the effective drug effective values are there, right? What you have to do is you have to simply add all the data, all the data. So there are you have to add all the data and then. Okay. Okay. So average is nothing but you have to add all the data and divide it by how many rows are there. For example, here there are 2000, more than 2000 rows are there, I guess. Okay. So there are 2220 observations are there. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to add all the values. Suppose if I am getting the value something, if you add everything, you may get something around 6000. 440. Just assume it. If you add all the values, you may get 6440 divided by the number of rows. There are 2220. Okay. So you may get something around if you divide this value, you may get 2.88 something. Okay. So the average drug effective value is 2.88. Okay. So by having this, you can interpret something about the data, right? Average data effectiveness value is 2.8. So why mean is something like when you have a data, you if you want to interpret something about the data, you can use the mean. Okay, you have to simply add all the values and then divide it by number of observations or number of rows. And let's see when to use mean. And okay, for example, if you see the drug effective value, all the values are lying around 2.52, 2.15, 3.92. So maybe this data is a normally distributed data. We will come to in a later stage what we will see what is normal distribution in later stage. But let's see when we have to mean and when we have to use median. Okay. Uh, for example, in this data, if you see all the values are normally distributed. Normally distributed means all the values are nearby ranges. See 2.2, 2.33, 5, all the values are nearby, nearly. If your data has some extreme values, okay, for example, if you see some back pain, methanol, for if the values are something like 555, this value we will call it as extreme values. Okay. If your data has some extreme value, your data will not be normally distributed. Okay. Suppose if your data has so many extreme values, not so many, like 2% or 3%, it has extreme values. Either it may be because of data error, or it may be some typo error, or some error is there. Someone has wrongly entered the data, or it may be the real value also. For example, if your data has some extreme value, your data will not be normally distributed. Okay. So when your data has some extreme values or outliers, we will not use mean. Okay. We will use median at this stage. So when we will use mean only when, 1 minute. Okay, so we will use mean when your data is normally distributed. It doesn't have any extreme values or it doesn't have any outliers. Okay, then only you can use mean. Okay, mean is nothing but, as I mentioned, you have to add all the values and divide it by number of observation. Okay, let's keep mean as 2.88. Just as I'm just putting approximate value, it's not a true value. Okay. Now let's see median. Okay. Median is just a middle value. For example, what you have to do is in median, you have to sort the data. Let's do it. Okay. Maybe I will open my notepad. Okay. So, just I'm having a list of BMI values of different students. Okay, maybe 10.1. This is just a dummy values. Don't consider it as a. Okay. So I am having a BMI value of 4 or 5 different students. Okay. Now what I am going to do is I am going to calculate the median value. If you want to calculate the median for this list of BMI values, first you have to sort the values by smaller to largest. Oh, okay. So the first value will be like 5.6, and then it will be sorry, it will be 5.5, and then 5.6, and then it will be 8.8, and then 9.9, and then it will be 10.1. So what you have to do is you have to arrange the numbers from smallest to largest, or you can do it from reverse way also, largest to smallest, but you have to arrange the data first, and then you have to find the which is the middle number. So here there are 5 numbers are there, 5 observations are there. So median is the middle value. Okay. So so median, how we will calculate is we will calculate median by arranging the data, and then we will find the middle value. Okay. Mean is how we will calculate mean. We will add all the values and then we will divide it by 5. Okay. So median, when we will use median, suppose if your data has some extreme value, then you can use the median. Okay. For example, instead of BMI, one person wrongly entered the data as 99.9. Okay. Or he may type wrongly 999. Instead of 9.9, he has wrongly entered the data 999. Even if you put 999, the median value will not impact. Okay, still the median value will be 8.8. Okay, but if you calculate mean value, when you have a extreme data, if you calculate the mean value, the extreme value will impact the mean. Okay. So it may go around like 300 or something. Okay, 304 or something. So when your data has some extreme value, it will impact the mean. Okay, but when your data has extreme value, it won't impact the median. Okay, so always remember, when you have a extreme data and when your data is not normally distributed, go for a median. Okay, don't go for a mean. When your data is perfectly normally distributed and it doesn't have any extreme values, then you can go for a mean. Okay. Okay. So as I mentioned, you can arrange the data first and check whether your data has any extreme values or not. If your data has some extreme value, then calculate the median instead of mean. Okay. Okay. Mode, when we have to use the mode. Okay. For example, when your data mode is nothing but the frequent value. Okay. So, for example, you can't calculate mode for when you are mode. If you calculate for numerical values, it won't give a meaningful interpretation. Okay. For example, I want to see which is the most frequent drug type they have used, whether it is RX or whether it is OTC or whether it is which one I want to know, which is most frequently used. Okay. So in this scenario, you can use mode. Okay. When your data is character or it's not a numerical, uh, then you can go for a mode. Okay. Instead of mean and median, you can go for the mode for when your data is a categorical data. Okay. For example, if you calculate mode here, there are so many numerical values, right? So if you calculate mode for this, it won't create any, it won't make any meaningful interpretation. So when your data has some categorical values, that time you can use mode. Mode means which is the most frequent value. Okay. For example, here, if Rx may occur 600 times, then the mode value will be Rx. Okay. No. Okay. So the mode value will be Rx. Okay. If it occurs more than more number of times, then the most frequent drug type will be Rx. Okay. So when your data is not a numerical and when it is categorical, then you will use the mode. Okay. So always remember, when your data is perfectly normally distributed and it doesn't have any extreme value, then use mean. Okay. But when your data has some extreme value, okay, then you have to go for median. When your data is a categorical and you want to find which is the most frequent value, then go for a mode. Okay, now let's see how we have to calculate the mean median mode in Python. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this Excel file in Python. First, I'm going to use the library called import pandas. Okay, and then I'm going to read the data, read the Excel file. So I'm going to copy the path. My change the slash, and then what is the file name, and then .csv. Okay. So when you're another thing, when you're reading the Excel file in Python, always close the file. Okay. Don't run the Python while Excel is open. So I have read the Excel file. Okay. Sorry, it is Panda. Okay. Just a minute. Sorry, it's my mistake. It's pandas.read. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to read this Excel file, and then it is stored in the name of result. Okay. So let's see how many there are so many columns are there, right? So my data set has a column condition, and what is the drug name, and what is the indication, and what is the drug type, and what is the effective. Okay. So the most easiest way to find the mean median mode is we can simply put describe. So if you see the average effective value, it is 3.55. The average ease of use is 3.958, and the average satisfaction is 3.21. And median value is nothing but 50th percentile. Okay, for example, median value is nothing but 50th percentile. Median is central value, right? The middle value. So 50th percentile is nothing but median value. Okay. So there is one more thing. You can calculate the mean median mode. Okay. For example, I'm just going to use only one column, that is effective column. So when you're accessing a column, just open a brace and then put it under the double quotes. Okay. So what it will do is it will display on the particular column. So if you want to display only the particular column values, then you can just put result and then quotes effective. Okay. For example, if I want to access or if I want to see what are all the complete list of drug values, it will display all the drug values here. Okay. Okay. And now what you can do is if I want to see mean value for this effective, you can just put the data set name and then open the brace and then put the double quotes and put the column name here. And then if you want to find the mean value, put simply mean and then just braces. Okay. Open brace and close brace. What it will do is it will display only the mean value for effective. Okay. So the mean effective value is 3.55. If you want to calculate the mode, median, you can simply put dot median and brace, open brace. Okay, so here the median, the middle value is 3.68. Okay, And now I want to find which is the most frequent drug type. Okay. So I'm going to find which is the most frequent drug type. Okay, so the it is telling acetoaminophen. So this is the most frequent data type. Okay, so if you want to find which is the most frequent value, you can use mode. Okay, and if you want to find which is the middle value, you can use the median. And if you want to find mean, you can simply use mean brace, open brace and close brace. Okay. So, okay. So this is how you can calculate mean, median, mode in Python. The easiest way is that you can put describe, but one disadvantage is you can't find the mode value here. Okay. You will have mean and median value, but you will not have a mode here. Okay. Okay. So this is another way to calculate the mean, median, mode in Python. So we have seen when to use mean. When your data doesn't have extreme values, you can go for mean. When your data have any extreme values or outlier, or your data is not normally distributed, then go for median. When your data type is categorical, then go for a mode. Okay. Okay. So as I mentioned, this is the comparison of mean, median, mode. When your data has any extreme values, your data will not be normally distributed. So if your data doesn't have any extreme value, your data will be perfectly normally distributed. Okay. When your data is has some extreme value, your data will have a skewness. Okay. We will come to I will explain what is skewness in a later stage. Reason for double colon, 1 minute. So yeah, you can when you are putting a column name here, you can use double quotes or you can use single quotes. It doesn't matter. Okay. For example, even if you put double quotes, nothing won't change. It will give the same value. Even if you put single quotes here. Okay. So when you are putting some column name, you can use double quotes and single quotes also. It's not an issue. Same like when you are putting a string value here or variable, you can use single quotes also. You can use a double quotes also. It doesn't matter. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is all about mean, median, mode, and this is how you will calculate in okay, in Python. Okay. Let's see. There is no question. Okay. For example, now we will see what is missing value. Okay. Missing value is nothing but when your data points are absent in a data set. Okay. Handling missing values crucial for accurate analysis and model performance. So if your data has some missing value, then it may impact your statistical values. Okay, let me open the data set. Okay. For example, here there is a effectiveness value, right? A drug effective value. For example, in this column, if there is some missing value, so there are some missing values in this data. Okay, I am manually removed some data. Okay. So when your data has a missing value, it may impact mean, median, or mode. When you are calculating mean, median, mode, your data should not have any missing value. Okay, if your data has a missing value, it may impact the statistical measure. Either it may lower the statistical power or exceed the not power. The interpretation may be wrong. Okay, when your data may be have a missing value, your statistical interpretation may be wrong. Okay, so always before doing analysis, what you have to do is you have to check whether your data has any missing value or not. If your data has any missing value, you have to fill the missing value by some statistical method, and then you have to proceed the analysis. Okay. So, okay. So let's see how to identify the missing value in your data set. For example, your data has 2,200 rows, more than 2,200 rows. It is manually difficult to check, right? So the in Python, there is one easiest way to check whether your data has any missing value or not. Okay. So if you want to find the missing value in your data, what you have to do is put your data set name. My data set name is result, and then use a function name called isNull. Okay. So what this function will tell us, if your data has any missing value, it will tell whether your data set has a missing value or not. Okay. So for example, here it is telling in my first row there is no missing value for a condition, and in drug also there is, in first row there is no missing value, in second row there is no missing value, in third row there is no missing value. Okay. So if you see like this, it is difficult to find, right? Which row and which column has missing value, we can't find because there are 2,200 row. So what you have to do is, if you use one more function here, sum, it will tell how many missing values are there in the data set. Okay. Okay. So it is telling there is no missing value in my data set. Okay. What I will do is, again, I will read the data set, and let's see now how many missing values are there. Okay. I'm reading the data set once again. Now I just going to run this function. So it is telling in effective column, there are some 5 missing values are there. Okay. I will send this function in a chat. It may be useful for your assignment. So I will send one more assignment. Okay. So what this function will do is, it will tell how many missing values are present in each column. So in condition column, there is no missing value. Drug, there is no missing value. In effective column, there is missing value. Okay. Okay. So now what we are going to do is, we are going to fill this missing value, okay, with some other value. Okay. So now we have, first thing, when you, before doing an analysis, you have to always check whether your data has any missing values or not. And then only you have to calculate mean, median, or mode. Okay. So my data has a missing value. So now what I have to do is, let me open the source Excel file. Okay. So before doing any analysis, what you have to do is, you have to fill this missing value. How you will fill? Either you have to fill this missing value by mean or median. Okay. Okay. There are three approaches. Okay. First approach is you can delete the entire row and then you can proceed with the analysis. Okay. So here there are nearly 2200 rows are there. So maybe if you delete 4 or 5 rows, it won't impact the overall statistical analysis. But assume there are only 10 rows are there, you have only 10 observation. Out of 10 observation, if you have two missing rows, then you have to delete 20 percentage of your data. Okay. If you delete less than 5 percentage of data, that is fine. But if you have to delete more than 5 percentage of data, it will impact your interpretation. Okay. So I would prefer not to delete any observation or any row. Instead of that, you can fill the missing value by either mean or median value. Okay, what we will do is we will fill the missing value by mean or median. When you will use mean, when your data has any extreme values here, you will not use mean here. For example, here instead of 3.44, if your data has 344, I will simply use median value here. Okay. Maybe my median value is 2.98. Okay. And I will fill all the missing value with median value. Okay. But if your data doesn't have any extreme values here, you can simply use the mean value here. Okay. Instead of median value. Okay. So let's see how to fill the missing value in the Python, using Python. Okay. Okay. So my missing value is in the column called. Okay, sorry, my there is a power cut in my area. Now I've connected to the hotspot. Okay, let me know if I'm audible now and my screen is visible. Am I audible now? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, now let's see how to fill the missing value. Okay, now what you have to do is we have find our missing value is in the column called effective, right? So you just have to access it in Python. I'm just okay. And then how to fill the missing values? There is one function name called fill NA. Fill NA means missing value. Okay. So use the function called fill NA, and inside. So this is our mean value, right? So what I'm doing is I'm going to use the function name called fill NA. Inside, I'm going to fill the missing value with mean. So I'm using dot mean. But if your data has some extreme value, use median. Okay, your missing value will be filled with the median value instead of mean. So first you have to check whether your data has any extreme values or not. And then you have to either fill the missing value with either a mean or median. Assume our data has some extreme values. Okay. So now my data is filled with the median values here. Okay. So this is how you will fill the missing values. Okay. This function also I will put it in a chat. Okay. So let we have seen how to fill the missing values in Python. Okay. So always assume if it is if your data, for example, if your data is categorical data and there is a missing value, then how you will use? You will use the mode. Okay. For example, if there is any missing values in the categorical data. Okay. Anjali, you are asking, is that a comma or full stop? Uh, so where you are asking, it is all dot. It's not a comma. It's a full stop. Where it's not a comma. We are not using comma anywhere here. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So if your data is a categorical data for like a type, uh, okay. For example, there is a missing values here. Okay. Then what we have to do is we have to use the mode value here. Okay. Because our data is a categorical data. So if you want to calculate the mode here, you can simply put in the bracket mode. Okay. Okay. So this is how you will find the missing values. Okay. If you how to the first step is you have to detect the missing value. If once you detect the missing value, you can fill the missing value by mean, median, or mode based on the data type and whether it has extreme values or not. Okay. Okay. Now the one another last thing is before doing analysis, the first step is check whether your data has missing values or not. Another thing is whether your data has any extreme values or not. Okay. Let's see how to identify whether your data has extreme values or not. Okay. For example, in my data, there is some extreme values. Okay. Like instead of 5 there is 555. Some unrealistic values are there. Okay. Now if your data has only 10 observation, you can simply see the data and identify there is a extreme values. But our data has 2200 rows, right? You can't scroll the mouse one by one and see where the extreme values are there, right? So let's see in Python how to identify whether your data has any extreme values or not. Okay. Okay, let's see what is the method to identify whether your data has any extreme values or not. Okay, outliers are nothing but it is the extreme values in your data set. Okay, okay. Uh, okay. Previously, when I explained for median, what I told is, uh, for example, the median is you have to arrange the data and then you have to either put smallest to largest and or largest to smallest, and then you have to find the middle value. Okay. So middle value is nothing but it is the 50th percentile. Okay. Okay. So middle value is 50th percentile. Okay, and there are five values are there, right? So assume that second value is 25th percentile, and fourth value is 75th percentile, and last value is 100th percentile. Okay, so when your data, for example, okay, for example, this data is 25th percentile, and this data is okay. You have to arrange the data, and then you have to find which is 25th percentile and which is 75th percentile. Okay, and then this is 100th percentile. Okay. Uh, okay. So in Python, if you are using describe function, we have already used describe function, right? It is telling for effective the 25th percentile value is 3, the median value is 3.68, and 75th percentile is 4.33. Okay, maximum is nothing but 100 percentile. Okay, so the minimum is assume that it is 0th percentile, and 25th percentile is 3, 50th percentile is 3.68 for effective, 75th percentile or 75th position. Maybe instead, if you don't remember what is percentile, it is something like a position. You have to arrange the data and you have to see which data is in 25th percentile or position. Okay. Okay. So using this concept only, we are going to find whether our data has some extreme values or not. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to find whether your data has any extreme values or not, first you have to find your 25th percentile. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to calculate the 25th percentile without describe function. Okay. So if you want to find the 25th percentile, you can use the function name called quantile. What it will do is it will calculate the percentile value. Okay. Similar. So, okay. Assume that this is I'm storing under Q1. Q1 means quarter one, 25th percentile. Okay. And similarly, I'm calculating the 75th percentile value. So if you want to calculate 75th percentile, put 0.75. Okay. So I'm calculating 25th percentile and 75th percentile. I'm storing it in Q1 and Q3. Okay. So, and then I'm calculating interquartile range. In statistics, there is something called interquartile range. Okay, range means maximum minus minimum. Most of you may remember what is range. It is nothing but maximum minus minimum. Okay. For effective, if you want to calculate the range, the the maximum value is 5, minimum value is 1. So the range is 4 for effective. For ease of use, if you want to calculate the range, the minimum value is 1 and maximum value is 4. So the range is 4. Okay. There is one more thing called interquartile range. Interquartile range is nothing but 75th percentile minus. So there is something called interquartile range. Okay. Uh, okay. So for interquartile range, what you have to calculate is first you have to calculate 75th percentage and 25th percentage. Okay. So okay, and then So IQR is nothing but what you can do is you can simply put Q3 minus Q1. Okay. So how we are calculating interquartile ranges? We are calculating Q1, Q3, that is 75th percentile and 25th percentile. Sorry, it is small q. So let's see what is interquartile range. So our interquartile range value is 1.33. Okay. Okay. So now let's see how to find the extreme values. Okay. For example, your date you have to calculate some lower limit and upper limit. Okay. This concept may be little maybe. So we are setting some limit for finding extreme values. Okay. So I'm setting two limits. One is lower limit and another is upper limit. Okay. How to calculate the lower limit is so you have to calculate lower limit and upper limit first. Okay. In lower limit, how you will calculate is Q1 minus 1.5 into IQR. Okay. So let's calculate our lower limit in Python and upper limit also we will calculate. So lower limit, what I'm doing is I'm putting Q1 minus, open the bracket and then 1.5 into interquartile range. Okay. And similarly, I'm calculating upper limit also. Upper limit, it is Q3 plus. Okay. Now let's see what is lower limit value and upper limit value. Okay. So it is telling lower limit value is 1.05 and upper limit is 6.325. So this is the way to find the extreme value. Suppose in your data, any values falls behind the lower limit, that is 1.005, you have to consider as a extreme value. Okay. For example, this assume that if any data falls behind 1.005, assume that that is a extreme value. Okay. So I'm assuming one as a extreme value. Similarly, if your data as upper limit 6.3, if your data exceed behind above 6.325, then that also you should consider as a extreme value. For example, if your data has 7, 8 or any value greater than 6.325, then you have to assume that is a it is a extreme value. So first you have to find the lower limit and upper limit, and then you can easily find whether your data has a extreme values or not. Okay. So this is the way to identify whether your data has a extreme values or not. Okay. Okay. So now we have find the limit for finding the extreme value. Okay, we have find lower limit and we have find the extreme low upper limit. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check with how many data are falling, how many rows are falling behind one lower limit. Okay. So if you put like this, it will tell the first row it is telling false because it is greater than it is not lesser than lower limit. Okay. In second row it is telling it is lower than lower limit, but if you see some rows it is showing true. Okay, that means our data has a extreme values. Okay. Similarly, you can put greater than upper limit. Okay. 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 Okay, time is little bit exceeding 8. So what we can do is, in next class, beginning class, I will tell how to. Now we have identified whether our data has a extreme values or not. Okay, so once your data has a extreme values, you can decide whether you can go for a mean, whether you have to go for mean or median. For example, here our data has a extreme values, right? Then what you can do is you can go for a median. Okay, when you are using any statistical measure, you can go for a median. Okay, so I will send this formula to you. So for any data, if you want to find whether your data has a extreme values or not, you can use this interquartile method. Okay, we will call it as a interquartile method. Okay. 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 So what you can do is if you want to find how many how extreme values are there, you can use a sum function. Okay. So it will tell whether how many extreme values are there. So if I put lower than lower limit, there are 165 missing extreme values are there. Okay. So this is how you will find the extreme values in your data. Okay. Don't think our data has 165 extreme values. This is just a dummy data. Okay. But in real life, you may get a different situation. So this is how you will find whether your data has a extreme values or not. Okay. So always assume, remember one thing before deciding mean, median, mode, always check whether your data has a missing values or not, and then check whether your data has some extreme values or not. Based on that only, we will decide whether to go for mean or median. Okay. So that's it from my side today. If you have any question, put it in a chat or we will close it for today. I will send one assignment for missing value and extreme values by today or tomorrow. Okay, if you don't have a question, we can close the session for now. Okay. Yeah, you will get the recording for sure. This session. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. In between, if you have any question, you can WhatsApp me. And also one more thing, please send the assignment to my mobile number. If you send in the comment group, there is a chance that the assignment can multiple person can access the assignment. So instead of putting in a group, please send it to me. So no one can access your assignment other than you. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.